Hey everybody, this is the fifth video on the series on verbals. In the previous videos, we have conceptualized verbals. We know what they are, we know which they are, we know we have four verbals, and we know that they do different things in the sentence. And we still have more interesting things to talk about verbals, but before we continue doing that, I would like to perform some guided analysis of sentences possessing verbals, right? I want to remind you that all of our analyses are performed at the sentence level, because if we try to do these analysis in a fragment or in a phrase, the analysis may not work out. So I have brought 5 sentences for you. I'm gonna show you 5 sentences. Hoping to find a solution to the problem, Corey decided to call a consulting firm is the first one. We're going to analyze this. To start the engines, you need to warm them up for 15 minutes. Failing to warm them up might cause serious damage. The employees that were fired have been instructed not to leave the premises until the union leader shows up. Fighting her impulse to slap the man, Roberta simply turned around and walked away in a dignified manner. And the last sentence, chamomile is used to treat multiple problems like insomnia, anxiety, and digestion issues. Its soothing effects have long been praised. So without further ado, let's start analyzing the first sentence. Here we go. Hoping to find a solution to the problem, Cody decided to call a consulting firm. From the start, I find this ing word. Notice that I say the ing word. I'm not saying the gerund or the present participle, because I still don't know if it's a present participle or a gerund. Well, I do know, but this is a guided exercise, of course. So I want to remind you that we have verbals and we have verbal phrases. So we need to check if this is only a verbal, hoping, or if we have a verbal phrase. Just to refresh a little your memory from the last video, we have verbal phrases, and they are comprised by having an object, the verbal plus the object, or you could have an infinitive, the verbal plus the infinitive, or you could have the verbal plus a prepositional phrase, or a combination of these 3 different elements can make up the infinitive, the verbal phrase, right? So let's check. Hoping what? Hoping to find. Okay, then I have a phrase. I have an ing phrase, but is it only hoping to find? Hoping to find what? Hoping to find a solution, right? All this information is connected. It's not only hoping to find. Hoping to find what? A solution. Okay, I include a solution. Only that. I don't include to the problem? Yes, I have to include to the problem because this is directly related to solution, a solution to the problem. So now I know that the phrase is hoping to find a solution to the problem. Now, is it a gerund phrase or is it a present participial phrase? If it's a gerund phrase, it has to be a noun. If it's a noun, it has to assume the role of a noun. Somebody might tell me, okay, yes, teacher, that's a gerund. That's a gerund phrase, and why? Because it's acting as the subject. Okay, what is the verb for this gerund phrase? To find. No, it cannot be. That cannot be the verb for 2 reasons. First, because it's inside the phrase, so I cannot say this is the verb for the phrase because it's inside it. And second, because this is not a verb, right? That's a verbal. Hope to find is not a verb, it's a verbal. That's an infinitive. So, in this sentence, which is a simple sentence, not because it's short, it's a simple sentence because it only has one verb, which is decided. So I ask you, who decided something? Who did the action of deciding? Corey did. So Corey is the subject. And now I ask you again, who was hoping to find a solution to the problem? Corey. Corey was hoping to find a solution to the problem. So this is extra information about Corey. So, in other words, I am saying that hoping to find a solution to the problem is a present participle phrase, and it's acting as an adjective. Next, we find the infinitive. To find. Again, let's see if we have a phrase. To find what? A solution. Only a solution? No, a solution to the problem. So the infinitive is to find a solution to the problem. Now, is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it an adverb? The process that I follow, and I have told you this, is to check it if it has the function of a noun. If it has the function of a noun, then it has to be a noun, of course. Then I don't think about adjectives and adverbs. Hoping what? Hoping what? To find a solution to the problem. Yes, it is the object of the present participle. Remember that some present participles can have objects. So I go ahead and say, to find a solution is an infinitive phrase, and it's a noun, of course. I am saying here, right here, I have written the N, showing you that it's a noun. It's important that you write this N over here, or to say that it's a noun, because they can be also adjectives and they can also be adverbs. I'm talking about infinitives and infinitive phrases. And this does not only help me, but also helps you to decide functions and to be more careful in your analysis. Now let's continue. Oopsie. Decided, somebody might tell me, decided, it's a past participle. No, decided is not a past participle. Decided is the verb, so I don't classify decided. But then we have an infinitive, to call a consulting firm. And what is it? Again, I tested to see if it's a noun. Does it have the function of a noun? Cory decided what? He decided to call a consulting firm. And it is an infinitive phrase, because if you check, you can ask the question what after to call. To call what? A consulting firm. So you have an object for the infinitive. The infinitive phrase is to call a consulting firm. It is behaving like a noun, and the function of this noun is to be a direct object. Fantastic, I got it, teacher. We're done. Now, we're not done yet. We have one more verbal, which is consulting. I have this verbal, and it is not a verbal phrase, okay? It's not a verbal phrase because this is not in service of consulting. On the contrary, consulting is giving information about the firm. So the central word in this phrase, a consulting firm, is firm. In other words, this is a present participle because it's behaving like an adjective. And that's the analysis for the first sentence, guys. Let's check the second sentence. Again, I insist, I want you to try and do it by yourselves before I do my analysis, so you can check whether you need to go ahead and review the previous videos. To start the engines, you need to warm them up for 15 minutes. Failing to warm them up might cause serious damage. Here we have two different sentences, right? But don't pay attention to the second sentence right now, let's just focus on the first one. To start what? To start the engines. So I have an infinitive phrase. That's the first thing I noticed. Now I ask you, is it acting as a noun? Is it acting as an adjective? Is it acting as an adverb? If I say, okay, teacher, I think it's a noun. Okay, if it's a noun, what is it in the sentence? It's a subject. No, because the subject is you. You need to warm them up. Okay, you need to do something, not to start the engines. That phrase is not doing anything. Okay, teacher. Okay. Then it's not a subject. I got it. It's an appositive. All right. How do you know it's an appositive? Because you have the comma over there. Okay, cool. But the problem is that a comma doesn't make an appositive. The appositive is the renaming of another noun. Okay? So, is you the same as saying to start the engines? No. Definitely not. So it cannot be an appositive. Okay. It's an addressed noun. No, that doesn't fit either, right? You're not talking to the engines right there. So it is not a noun. It is in fact an adverb, because it tells me the reason why I need to warm the engines for 15 minutes. What is the reason? The reason is to start them, right? So, first verbal phrase is an infinitive phrase and it's acting as an adverb. The next verbal is not. The next verbal is not to warm them up. Why not? Why not? I know you may feel confused right now. Why is to warm them up not an infinitive? Well, because you have right there the semimodal need. Need is a semimodal. To be more precise, the semimodal is need to. Okay, remember that semimodals basically transmit the same ideas or similar ideas to the modal verbs. So because this is a semimodal, it means that this is the principal verb, right? This is the analysis that I make. That's why I don't include this infinitive as an infinitive, because in my perspective, this is not such a thing. This is not an infinitive because this transmits the meaning for the action. Now, moving on, if I say that this is not an infinitive, to warm them up for 15 minutes. No more verbals in this first sentence, right? Next, failing to warm them up might cause serious damage. Failing, that's an ing. Now, failing what? Failing to warm them up. Okay? And right after this, we have the verb. Because right after this, we have the verb, I can tell that this is the subject. This, if it's the subject, then it's a gerund phrase, right? Again, in Spanish, we can help ourselves with the use of our language, right? If we translate this, no calentarlas podría causar daños serios. No calentarlas podría causar daños serios. So, or to be more textual, dejar de calentarlas podría causar daños serios. Dejar, it takes the meaning of an infinitive, right? And then I have the infinitive to warm. Only to warm, or to warm up, or to warm them up? Actually, the infinitive is to warm up. That's a phrasal verb, so the infinitive is to warm up. And I have an object for to warm up, which is I'm sorry, as I was saying, which is them. So to warm them up is an infinitive phrase, and it's acting as a noun. Is it an adjective or is it an adverb? I can see the failing over there. Failing what? Failing what? Failing to warm them up. So if it answers what or whom after the ing, then I can say that this is the object of failing. And then I continue checking. Might cause serious damage. I don't have any more verbals in this second sentence. And with this, guys, I am going to finish this video because of the 15 minutes I allot to each of these videos. I don't like to go over them because I have an issue with uploading them on YouTube. Anyway, I'll continue discussing the other 3 cases in the next video. Have a fantastic day, everybody.